Hello and welcome back to Knowledge Plus for another deep dive. Today we're getting into something that's really shaking things up. The emergence of artificial intelligence and, well, what it means for creativity. It feels like we're questioning the very definition of a creator.
It's a massive shift. For, centuries, creating art, writing, that's been fundamentally human.
Exactly. But AI isn't just a tool anymore, is it?
Yeah.
It's moved beyond that. It seems like it's collaborating, generating things. Some might even say it's being artistic.
That's the core of the debate. We're seeing AI systems produce content that looks, feels, sounds original, drawing on these enormous data sets.
And it really challenges that idea of human exclusivity in creation.
It absolutely does. It's not just making things faster. The output itself can be strikingly similar to human work.
Which naturally leads us right to the big question we want to tackle today.
Mm-hmm.
Can something an AI creates actually get intellectual property protection, like copyright?
That's the heart of it.
So our mission here is to unpack the legal side of things as they stand now, look at a really key court case that kind of set an early precedent, and then think about what this means for the future, for creators, for ownership, really, for all of us.
And we're grounding our discussion today in some really insightful work by lawyer Adrienne Park. Her article, AI, Creativity, and Copyright's Human Horizon, does a fantastic job laying out these complex issues.
Great. So let's start with the basics. This idea of a human creator, it's not new in copyright law, right?
Sure.
It's pretty fundamental.
Oh, absolutely central. It's been the bedrock principle for, well, as long as copyright has been around. The title, creator, legally speaking, was reserved for humans, period.
And this isn't just historical.
Not at all. The U.S. Copyright Office, the USCO, they made this really clear quite recently, actually. In 2023, they put out guidelines.
Okay.
And those guidelines explicitly state, I'm paraphrasing slightly, but basically, works generated by AI alone are not eligible for copyright registration.
Right. So no human creative input, no copyright. Crystal clear.
Crystal clear on that point, yes.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. So what does this foundational rule, this human authorship requirement, really mean for the explosion of AI-generated content we're seeing everywhere?
Well, it's central because copyright law, at its core, was designed to incentivize and protect human creativity, human intellect, human effort.
Right. Reward people for making new things.
Exactly. The philosophy is you grant creators exclusive rights, and that encourages them to create more, which benefits society, enriches our culture. So the human authorship requirement ensures we're rewarding that unique human process, the thinking, the intention, the choices, maybe even the emotions that go into creating something.
So it's not just about the final product, but who or what originated it.
Precisely. It's not just about the tool, like a paintbrush or, software. It's about the source of the creative spark.
Ooh.
If it's just a machine running an algorithm, automatically or randomly, without that crucial human intervention,
then it doesn't meet the purpose of copyright law.
Exactly. The fundamental reason for copyright just isn't fulfilled in that scenario.
Understood. That clarifies the why behind it.
Yeah.
But okay, how does this principle handle the gray areas? What about when AI isn't working alone?
Now we get to the really tricky part. Collaboration.
Right, because people are using AI as part of their creative process.
Increasingly so. And this is where the lines get blurry. In these cases where a human and AI work together, the resulting work might get some copyright protection. Partial protection, maybe?
Depends on the human part.
It hinges entirely on the degree of human contribution. How much creative input did the human actually provide? And to really get a handle on that degree, we need to look at a specific, very important legal case.
I think I know where you're going with this. Is this the Kristina Kostanova case with the graphic novel?
That's the one. Zarya of the Dawn. It's become a kind of benchmark case for this issue.
So what happened there? She used AI for the images, right?
Yes. She used an AI tool called Midjourney to generate the illustrations for her graphic novel. And interestingly, back in September 2022, she applied for copyright.
And got it.
And initially, yes, she was granted copyright for the whole novel, including the images.
Wow.
But then there was a twist. The Copyright Office found out, or became clear later, that the images were AI generated.
And they took another look.
They revisited their decision, and their final conclusion was, well, pretty firm. They stated that copyright requires clear evidence of human authorship.
Meaning the images didn't qualify.
Precisely. The AI-generated images in Zarya of the Dawn were ruled ineligible for copyright protection.
So, just to be clear, they didn't revoke copyright on her text, the story she wrote.
No, the human author text and the overall arrangement of elements, that remained protected. It was specifically the AI-generated images that lost protection.
And this wasn't just an opinion, right? They cited specific laws.
Oh, yes, absolutely grounded in law. U.S. copyright law itself, Title 17, talks about original works of authorship fixed in any tangible medium. And then there's the USCO's own rulebook, the Compendium.
Okay.
Section 313.2 of the Compendium is key here. It explicitly says the office will not register works produced by a machine or mere mechanical process that operates randomly or automatically without any creative input or intervention from a human author.
Creative input or intervention. That seems to be the crucial phrase.
It really is. For those mid-journey images, the USCO decided there just wasn't enough of that human creative input or intervention.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Kashtanova argues she was intervening, right? She said Midjourney was just a tool like a camera. She wrote the prompts, she tweaked them, she picked the final images. That sounds like creative choice.
It's a very compelling argument, and honestly, it's how many creators using these tools feel. They see it as directing the AI. But the Copyright Office, well, they didn't buy it in this instance.
Why not? What was the distinction they made?
The key distinction they drew was about the nature of the tool and the level of control. With a camera, the photographer controls composition, lighting, focus, timing. They make specific creative choices that the camera then captures or fixes. With Midjourney, as the USCO saw it, even though Kashtanova provided prompts, the AI system itself was generating the complex visual elements, the original expression. The prompts guided it, yes, but the AI did the actual drawing, so to speak, interpreting those prompts in its own complex way.
So the prompts weren't specific enough creative instructions. Like, she wasn't telling it, put this specific line here, use this exact shade there.
Essentially, yes. The USCO felt the prompts were more like general instructions or ideas, and the AI translated those into a specific visual form. The human didn't sufficiently mastermind or control the final creative expression in the image itself. It's about who truly originates the artistic expression fixed in the work.
Wow, that's a subtle but really critical distinction. It's not enough just to guide the AI. The human needs to be the source of the specific creative elements being fixed.
That seems to be the current interpretation.
Which brings us right back to the core problem we keep circling. Can this act of indirect creation, using prompts, guiding the AI, ever be enough on its own to warrant copyright?
Right now, legally speaking, the answer seems to be no. And Adrienne Klingjen-Park's article points out that maybe it's just too soon, legally, to recognize it. The law is still catching up.
There's skill involved, isn't there? Park acknowledges that.
Absolutely, and this is crucial. Park makes the point, and anyone who's used these tools knows, that crafting effective prompts to get truly stunning results takes real talent. It requires artistry, iteration, a good eye.
Yeah, it's not just typing random words. The quality varies wildly depending on the prompter.
Dramatically. It's a unique skill set. But the question remains whether that skill, the skill of prompting, translates into legal authorship of the resulting image under current law.
So what does this all mean for creators who are using these tools right now, pushing boundaries? Are they just creating things that can't be protected?
In terms of the purely AI-generated components, under the current USCO stance, yes, protection seems limited or non-existent. It's a tough spot for creators investing time and skill.
So like a temporary legal hurdle, maybe? Or something bigger?
Well, this is where Park's article gets really provocative looking ahead. It suggests that, yeah, a time will probably come when these kinds of indirect creations will get legal recognition somehow. The text just moving too fast, the creative output too significant to ignore forever.
Okay, so maybe the law will adapt.
Possibly. But here's the warning shot Park fires. If or when that day comes, it might signify something much deeper, something almost existential.
Deeper how?
The article suggests it could mark an era where humanity enters a kind of subjugation to AI.
Subjugation. That sounds dramatic. What's the thinking there?
It ties back to what makes us human. The article highlights two key differentiators: our emotions and our unique ability to create.
Okay, creation is a defining human trait.
Exactly. So the argument goes, if that core creative capacity, the very act of bringing something new into existence, gets largely outsourced to machines, even if we're guiding them with prompts, then what's left that's uniquely human? besides our emotions?
Mm.
If the creating is done by AI, have we given away something fundamental?
It's a heavy thought. If AI takes over the doing of creation, what is our role?
It raises this really important question for all of us. If we seed this ground, how do we define ourselves? It forces us, as the article suggests, to reconsider what creation even means. What makes something yours if a machine did the heavy lifting, creatively speaking?
It definitely moves the conversation beyond just lawyers and copyright forms, doesn't it? It hits at identity.
Absolutely. It's far beyond a purely legal or technical debate. It touches on the future of art, innovation, and maybe even the future definition of humanity itself in a world shared with powerful AI.
Wow. Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. Let's try to quickly recap the key takeaways from this deep dive. We started with the bedrock principle. Copyright law, as interpreted by the USCO, demands human authorship. No human creator, no copyright.
Right. Then we saw how the Kashtanova case tested this with AI collaboration. The outcome highlighted that crucial distinction using a tool versus having the AI generate the core creative expression. The degree of human input is key.
And that led us to the ongoing puzzle of indirect creation via prompting. We acknowledge the skill involved, definitely, but the law isn't there yet in terms of granting authorship.
And finally, that look towards the future, the potential for legal recognition someday, but also that profound, almost unsettling question about what happens to human identity if our defining trait, creativity, is shared or even led by AI.
The implications are huge, not just for specialists, but for you, the listener. Whether you're an artist using these tools, someone enjoying AI-generated content, or just thinking about the future of innovation.
It impacts how we value art, how we define ownership, and how we understand our own capabilities.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, here's that final thought to carry with you. If creativity, this thing that has so long defined human ingenuity, becomes something largely driven by machines, what new meaning does humanity find? How do we redefine being creative in that new reality? Thank you for joining us for this deep dive on Knowledge Plus.